Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Listen, I'm glad to have you guys here on this Wednesday, the 15th of July, 2020. Now, it doesn't really matter what's true and what's real in this world. Honest to gosh, it matters what people believe is true and what people believe is real. Because they act on what they believe in. So if they believe that something's really real, then they're going to act and record it in that direction or that fashion. Now, what about what's going on? Let's open up the charts right here and take a look at this. It says dozens of MP senators call for sanctions against China over human rights abuses. I'm going to tell you what. The world out there right now, the whole world, there's a large percentage of the people out there. Now, I'm not saying whether it's correct or it's incorrect. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is a large percentage of the people out there who believe that China did it. Basically, the whole virus thing, that they blame China, and so they're mad. They're upset and everything else, and a lot of these people are probably world leaders and everything. I mean, there's such a high percentage of the people out there. And the thing is the world right now is slowly but surely there's a divide being created right now between the West and the East, and that's extending into the financial system. That divide between West and East. And I'm going to tell you, they don't like you saying the word Cold War, but I'm going to tell you, I lived through the Cold War between Russia and the United States for many years during the Cold War, and this feels colder than a hard block of ice in the wintertime. I'm going to tell you what's going on now, and during the Cold War, it didn't seem as bad as what's going on now. I'm going to tell you, tensions are building up in the South China Sea right now. What the Chinese have done is they've went in there, and there's shoals. And what a shoal is it's like a sandbar that's not real deep under the water. And in the South China Sea, there's these shoals. They went in there with these dredging machines, and they dug up that pure white sand, and they heaped it up into heaps, and they made these islands where there weren't islands before. A ruling was made. I believe it was made in The Hague. In that ruling, basically, those islands, because they didn't exist there before, China's claimed territorial rights in these Spratly Islands in the South China Sea, and basically they've claimed these islands that they created from nothing, that weren't there before, where the United States and the allied countries of the West believe they have freedom of navigation in that area. And China believes they have that China's claimed that area. So it's an area of high tension in the South China Sea. While the whole world is starting to deteriorate, now they're talking about sanctions over China. It's just moving one step at a time toward a period where U.S. manufacturing can take advantage of this, because there might be a time coming in the not too distant future. Now, you've been warned on my channel that an awful lot of your items that come from China, motors, car parts, etc., everything that comes from China, you might not be able to get it. And this is going to create a tremendous demand in the West for these goods that have been coming from China. There's an opening here for small companies and small businesses in the United States that want to produce these same goods China was producing to be made in USA stamped on them. There's an opening there. And, there's going to be people that are smart that are able to take advantage of this opening in the economy to start producing these goods. And maybe they'll be a higher price than they were from China, but they'll probably be made better, for one thing. Anyway, this is something I wanted to talk about. Now, researchers here have noticed a jaw-dropping crash in global fertility rates. absolutely jaw-dropping, and I guess they don't really know what's causing it. But they're just not having kids, the younger generation, like they used to, and it's basically, I guess, it's infertility, and I'll tell you, I think I know what's causing it. I think it's got to do with the with when they make these plastics. They put everything in plastic now. You go back to the generation that was fertile, that increased the population. Like if you go back like 40 years ago, everything was in glass. Soda pop was in glass. Now it's in plastic. That plastic, no matter how well they make that plastic, it's gonna leach chemicals into the products that people drink, you know. And I think that's what's creating the infertility. I think it's some sort of maybe estrogens or things like that are leaking in to the things that they drink. I mean, their baby bottles made out of plastic now. It used to be made of glass, a glass baby bottle. That's why they call it a bottle, because it's made out of glass. But now they're all everything's plastic, and it used to be in the old days when a baby sucked on his pacifier, it was made of rubber. Now they mix plastic in with the rubber, because rubber's expensive. Uh, because I guess still, do they still get it from a rubber plant? I think so. Rubber is more expensive and hard to come by. Plastic, they mix plastic into everything. This is a plastic society. Anyway, moving on, let's take a look at the markets today. We got $19. Oh, one more thing I wanted to say about this global infertility. It's one of those things that's generational. You see a generation every 20 years, so you don't really see the effects of this for a full 20 years before you actually see the effects. It might be actually jaw-dropping. The effect might be a reduction in the world's population like we've never seen before. And that's not going to help the economy, because you got the aging demographic coming on that from the baby boom. Okay? Heaped on top of a world that's not creating youth. It's the youth that does everything. They're the ones out there doing all the hard work. The people think that their food comes on the table like just miraculously. It's not a miracle. It's a younger person out there tilling the field. I guess the 90-year-old people are going to be out there tilling the field. Now they're going to have to if they want to eat. I'll tell you, the world's tipped upside down right now. 1931 for silver today. It's up 6 cents. Actually, it's not up because it touched 1940 there, and then it's come back down, then it goes back up again. You can see it's kind of following a range here between $19 and 1930, roughly in that area, and so it's in the top of its range right now. Let's take a look at gold. Gold's at 1811, and it's at the top of its range. It's trying to break out to the high side. That's what it's doing right now. It tried there. It went up to 1815 and then dropped back down, and now it's 1811, and it's trying to push through. It's trying to push through 1820. Let's take a look at cryptocurrency today. Cryptocurrency's 272 billion on the day, with a Bitcoin dominance of 62.3% and a Bitcoin price of $91.95. So we see a little bit more strength in the altcoins. That's a bullish sign. That's a bullish signal, the strength in the altcoins. Let's take a look at the Dow Jones today, and we see the Dow Jones falling off. Not falling, but rising 103 points. But it is falling off right now. So it might end the day par or even into the negative if it keeps this up. The Dow Jones, they're reinflating everything right now. The central banks right now are reinflating, and this is why the markets are going up and everything. This is why you find certain aspects of the economy, everything that's too big to fail, is being reinflated. Asset bubbles are being reinflated, But the thing is the other side of the economy, the cash flows into the other side of the economy, the credit to the other side of the economy is drying up. And it's going to really dry up pretty soon. And it's going to become blaringly obvious what's going on there with that. So it's an inequality of the economy. You got one side of the economy that's being bloated with money, and it's being reinflated, and the other side of the economy is being left to drain out. Just drain all the money right out of them. And the thing about it is it's kind of like playing poker right now. The Federal Reserve is basically playing poker with all of your lives. And you say, well, how? Well, they are trying to see if you'll fold or not. They're sitting over there, and they've got the cards, and they're sitting there, and they're holding pat, and they're trying to keep a straight poker face, and they don't want to put any more chips on the table. This is the thing. They don't want to do any more stimulus packages, or they don't want to do modern monetary theory. They don't want to do UBI, universal basic income. They just want to kind of hold pat. They figure they threw a lot of money at this already, and they just kind of want to hold pat and see what happens. They want to see what you do. They want to see if you squeal or not. If you're just going to be quiet and you're just not going to say anything and you're just going to take the abuse. What I mean by abuse is not having something to eat at night, not having a place to sleep, or whatever. They just want to see if everyone out there will just take it, sit there and lump it or not. And if you'll sit there and lump it, then they're just going to stay holding pat. They're just going to keep inflating their side of the economy, and they're just going to let you dry out even drier. So eventually what will happen is you'll only get so dry before in the end you will squeal. And when you do squeal, that's the point. Or basically it's like saying uncle, the little kid. You ever seen them? They call him a noogie, and they keep doing it until the little kid says uncle. Basically, you guys are going to have to say uncle, because they're going to keep squeezing you. They're going to keep letting it's a vicious cycle of deflation that the regular economy's in right now. Not the Wall Street economy, but the Main Street economy. It's in a vicious cycle of deflation. As these people lose their jobs, they can't purchase. And because they can't purchase, then other people lose their jobs, and then they can't purchase. And the whole thing's starting to crumble. What it's going to lead ultimately to is a point where the Federal Reserve and the central banks are going to have to step in. But by them holding back, when they do step in, it's going to take a hell of a lot more money. Right now, they can throw a little bit of money at it and maybe put it off longer without. But if they wait until the whole thing snaps, I'll tell you what a mess we're in. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's take a look now at crude oil. $40.62 today. It's up 33 cents on the day. U.S. Treasuries. Now, we got another day here where we got a break in the middle where it's not moving, and we got the short end falling and the long end rising. But it's not real significant. We're looking at, here's a problem they're going to have. That U.S. 30-year is going to have a tendency to want to rise. The yield's going to want to rise on it. And maybe even the 20-year too. There's going to be a tendency where those yields are going to want to rise. They're going to have to do something about that. They're going to have to step in and purchase those treasuries, those long treasuries. They're going to have to purchase them, I think, pretty soon. Okay, let's take a look at the U.S. dollar index, 96.11. It's been down to 95s. Let's see, 931, it was 95.81. Now, it's starting to rise a little bit this afternoon. It shows weakness in the dollar. By the way, folks, if you're just tuning in for the first time, what we're looking at here is a slow progression toward a final conclusion. And the final conclusion is the dollar is going to basically go bye-bye. And so if you're invested in dollars, then you're going to have to switch over into some sort of new Fed coin. Probably be called the dollar. It's just going to be a transition over into a digital dollar. And what'll happen then is they'll probably give you a certain percentage. Like they're not going to give you dollar for dollar probably. It's probably going to be like $1,000 for one of the new dollars. Because your old dollar is going to go through a depreciation. It's called a hyperinflation. And this is the reset. The reset is into the new currency. And it's probably going to be backed by gold. And in order to create enough of this new currency, they're probably going to have to reset the price of gold to at least $5,000 or $10,000, maybe higher, maybe 20,000 or whatever, in order to create enough currency units, being as the amount of gold that they got. Of course, they're not going to. They're just going to say, well, we got this gold. They're not going to let you see it. They're not going to do a audit of it. They're just going to say we got it, and the currency is now backed by it. But they're going to say you're not allowed to convert the currency into gold. They're probably going to make some rules like that, and they're going to reset everything. The old dollar is going to be worth absolutely nothing. And they'll give you probably a certain period of time to transfer over into the new digital dollar. But that's what's coming, a digital dollar. And the same thing in China. It's coming to China. It's coming to the whole world, digital. It's going to be a digital yuan in China. But it's coming to the whole world. Every single little country is going to have a digital money. That's where they're going with this. It's this new blockchain technology, But that doesn't mean that Bitcoin, the cryptos, are going to be worthless. In fact, they probably will be worth more than they ever were. Anyway, listen, guys. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye.